Good morning, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to address the Sustainable Food Cities Conference convened in Newcastle this year. I'm absolutely delighted that cities today have become the center of gravity of political innovation when it comes to making this urgent shift to sustainable food systems. And during my tenure as United Nations Special Rapporteur on the right to food, I could witness a few years ago the very impressive increase of the role of cities in making this transformation possible. That should not surprise us. National governments very often are hijacked by private interests, and they are not particularly keen to support the relocalization, re-territorialization of food systems in order to make them more sustainable. Secondly, we have seen throughout the years that cities have a number of tools at their disposal that they are particularly well equipped to use in order to make this shift possible. They can use public procurement schemes in order to allow schools, public administrations, hospitals to buy food locally, imposing certain environmental conditions on local producers, but providing them at the same time a market for their produce. They can, of course, support the building of infrastructures for the local processing of locally produced food. And, of course, they can match people's initiatives with local entrepreneurs to allow the pioneers of sustainable food systems to be rewarded and encouraged by creating the adequate context for these initiatives to flourish. Now, cities are not doing this purely on altruistic basis. Of course, they contribute by doing this to reducing the environmental risk linked to air pollution, to long distances being traveled by processed food, and they contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by supporting local sustainably produced food in their policies. But cities are not only working for the benefit of ecosystems, they are also contributing by relocalizing food systems to the health of the population and the quality of the nutrition of the population with very clear outcomes, for example, on the learning abilities of children in schools that are providing children with adequate meals. They're also working for reducing food poverty by making fresh, adequate food affordable for local populations. And of course, they are contributing to the strength of the local economy by providing opportunities for local food producers and linking them with the urban markets. So I'm not surprised that cities today are seeing themselves as having to take a leading role in making this revolution to sustainable food systems that the situation now calls for. But I'm pleasantly surprised that so much energy is dedicated to this in recent years, and by cities now networking increasingly at European and international level in order to share experiences in this regard. The key challenge in the future, it seems to me, will be to ensure that cities can play an active role in supporting citizens-led social innovations that support local sustainable food systems. I'm thinking of innovations such as urban vegetable gardens, or community-supported agriculture, or community fridges, or these compacts between supermarkets and charities, NGOs, that provide the unsold food items to families in need in the vicinity of the retail store. So all these initiatives have often flourished as a result of the voluntary time committed by ordinary women and men who have dedicated their energy and their enthusiasm to building these social innovations to transform the food system. But very often they do not receive the support they deserve, and cities have been sometimes passive rather than actively promoting these citizens-led social innovations. They could do more by providing technical expertise, by removing the regulatory and administrative barriers that these social innovations sometimes encounter, and of course, by matching these citizens who dedicate their time and energy to making things change by linking these citizens to local entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who in turn can provide their know-how, their expertise, their access to finance in order to make these initiatives financially viable and economically viable in the long term. We cannot expect food systems to be transformed based simply on the voluntary contributions of people working in the evenings and weekends to make things happen at the local level. And so I believe that cities have an important role to play as partner cities, partnering with these ordinary citizens who are trying to change the food systems around them, and that this requires alliances to be built between the public, the civic, and the economic, between the municipalities, the citizens investing in these initiatives, and finally the local entrepreneurs. And I would very much welcome any results from the discussions that are held in Newcastle at the Sustainable Food Cities Conference that could support this idea of these alliances being a key tool to promote sustainable food systems at municipal level. With this, I would like to thank you. I wish you an excellent series of discussions today, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.